Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your arc tutorial. Now it sounds quite exciting to start getting our arches in, something a little bit more complex. Now I'm working with the same space as we were using for the circle tool tutorial. I have a rectangle, square technically, on the bottom here, which is 4,000 by 4,000 millimeters, and two separate walls, which are 4,000 by 4,000 millimeters as well. Now, if I simply rotate myself around a little bit using the orbit tool or click O on the keyboard, I just want to get a straight view onto here. So we're going to start working with our arches today. Now, I find that a two-pointed arc tool is by far the simplest one to use if you're just starting out. It is also the most useful because you have more control over it. Now, there's only really two things that you need to know with a two-pointed arc, and that's the measurements that you want lengthwise and height-wise for the arc. So if I simply draw a line that is 1,000 millimeters and hit enter, I keep my line tool. I just pressed L on the keyboard to kind of restart the line. And then I find the midpoint of that line and draw a line up, let's say half of that, say 500. Now I'm going to make another one of these just below so that we can kind of see. I'm going to do it on the same line so we can see them. So another 1,000 here. I'm going to erase this bit. And I'm going to draw a same 500 line, but I'm going to do it on the side instead so you can see the difference. Now, if you go up into your arcs here, we're going to use two-pointed arc to create an arch. And what you want to remember is you want 3 clicks. Start point of the length, end point of the length, and the reference point for the height. So I click once, the start point of the length, once for the end point of the length, and once for the reference point for the height. And then you can go in using your eraser tool and simply erase the middle bit. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing, but on these reference lines down here. So I'm going to go in to my two-pointed arc, click once for starting point of length, and then once for the end point of the length, and then I'm going to point to the reference point of my height. Now what you'll see is that you end up with the exact same result, even though your reference line wasn't in the middle. Your starting point and end point for the length determines in which space your semicircle will be drawn. Now your reference point will only guide how tall it will be. It will not bend the arc in any direction. So that's just good to know, especially if you have something in your drawing that you would like to line it up to. You can simply point to the end of that line and have that as your reference point, and that saves you a bit of drawing work. So really they seem a little complicated when you begin, but they are very simple to use.